coming to you live from the cosmos, countless worlds upon worlds, worlds without end. In these galaxies, every possible reality exists. What is reality on any one world is mere fantasy on all others. Here, all is real and all is illusion. What is, what was, and what will be start here with the words, "In the beginning, there was the 10-Point Podcast." My name is Bruce, and I've stumbled across two weird-looking characters in an alleyway. First, he's given up trying to assimilate. It's Chris.
There is no Chris, only something else.
And secondly, the end of the world is coming, and he will be the cause of it. It's Andy.
That's probably true, to be fair.
That's at least the third time I think I've threatened that you were behind Armageddon on the podcast.
I tell you what, you could definitely
Destroyer
be
of worlds.
the new Watcher in the What's If thing if you want to be the intro dude.
Yeah, I'm going to say, are we to think that is the Watcher doing that bit at the beginning?
I think it's meant to be.
It sounds very like what he says in the What If.
It's hard to tell. We'll get into this, how blurred this film and comic is.
Right, yeah. Because I have very little knowledge of Howard the Duck. Like
Yeah. It wasn't until Guardians of the Galaxy that I knew he was actually a Marvel character.
Yeah, because there's very little way of reference in this, is there, really? Right, better go on with what's next. We are the 10-Point Podcast. You can find us wherever you get podcasts. I've said this a million times by now. Anywhere you get podcasts, you will find us. Type in 10-Point Podcast. You will see our little microphone. Is it Mikey, our logo on most podcast apps now? Mikey the microphone with his kind of shouty mouth, replicating what we do on a weekly basis on the podcast here. And you can find us on YouTube.
Where you can see duck titties.
Well, hopefully, I guess. Hopefully. If that doesn't make you want to go to YouTube to see what I'm talking about.
Is duck titties okay on YouTube? Are we allowed to say that? Advertisers sponsoring duck titties?
Yeah. Censoring video, maybe, I don't know. Maybe blacked out. Technical difficulties we've had. Either way, 10-Point Podcast on all of that. Social medias, Facebook and Twitter. Same thing too, 10-Point Podcast. Type in the letters, not the numbers, the number 10-Point Podcast. For all your 10-Point Podcast needs, go to 10pointpodcast.com where you'll find all sorts of links and connections to everything. Send us reviews and recommendations, give us thumbs ups, likes, but we want to add some more films onto our film wheel. I know we've only ever used 2 of them, but we want more. So send us in as many films as you like for us to do. And we'll eventually get round to them, depending on how all the universes take in the wheel in consideration. On to what we've done in the last week. What have we been watching in the last week? I've been to the cinema this week, so I don't know if you want me to go first or if you want me to go last.
Last year exciting. I've not been to the cinema, so.
Right, I'll go last then. So Andy, you go ahead.
I watched Vacation Friends on Hulu/Disney Star over here in the UK. Starring John Cena. What a film.
Ah. Right, yeah.
What a film.
John Cena is in absolutely everything at the moment.
Yeah,
yes.
I was going to say, he's popping a boob right now.
He's the only one releasing films, apparently.
Yeah.
Every other...
I don't know how many years off from wrestling, and then all his films just seem to have come out at the exact same time as him coming back to wrestling as well.
But yeah, every other C-bomb's just delaying the films again, so...
Yeah, that's seemingly coming. I think that even more films are going to get pushed back. I saw that Venom a couple weeks ago got delayed, and then I was like, "Oh, here we go again." But it was a week that it got delayed.
Yeah, it's been delayed a week. Maverick's been delayed to next year. Jackass has been delayed to next year.
So is Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible has been pushed back like a year, like fully. So yeah.
Did you see that he got his BMW stole by some random guy?
Oh God, did he?
And he had 2 curries as well. Tom Cruise 2 curries.
I'm disappointed Jackass got moved because I was actually getting quite excited about that coming back.
It's only moved till February, but it's still been moved.
One of my favourite ever cinema going experiences was us going to see Jackass 3D.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Rod Gilbert and Jackass 3D, what a night.
Yeah, that was amazing. I think that's probably the only time I've enjoyed going to see a 3D film for its 3D-ness. Everything else just seemed like pain in the arse and all that, but yeah, Jackass was really good. Anything else, Andy? Was that your
no,
one?
It's my highlight. It's a recommendation. Thumbs up. If you like John Cena, if you like him being a stoner, brilliant.
What about you, Chris? What have you seen in the last week?
I watched Batman vs Superman: The Dawn of Justice. It was on TV the other night. Like, I think it's a great film, apart from that one giant flaw. It's like, it just makes no sense. Like, Andrew, Bruce has kidnapped my mum. I need your help. It's that simple. Not, you're not listening to me. Shove. Fight.
It's not even that simple.
by the
It's
way, my mum's called
Martha.
Yeah.
Wait, your name's Martha? Or your mum's Martha? Yeah, mine's is too. Shit, we better work together now.
We'd better save the universe. I've got the Blu-ray version of it, and I prefer the extended version. I'm not one that usually likes 3-hour-long films, but for some reason that film, I'm not even particularly sure what's different, but it just seems to be so much better.
More
the
Affleck.
extended version. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, one of Andy's favourites. The more the better. Anything else, Chris? Is that you, Batman?
I watched a little bit of the last Transformers film. It's pish.
A little bit.
That's it. Move on.
Well, Bumblebee?
I've never seen the first 3, so.
No, the Last Night or whatever it's called.
Well, that's not the last Transformers. The last Transformers is Bumblebee. With John Cena.
It's technically
So with John Cena again. So, I went to cinema this week. I saw 2 films. One stars John Cena. Yeah, I finally got around to see Suicide Squad. I finally dragged myself to cinema to see it. And it's definitely better than the first one. I can definitely say that for certain. It feels unfinished. It feels a bit thrown together. There's bits and pieces. Like, I don't know. Have you seen it yet, Chris? I don't know if you've seen it yet. Have you?
No, yeah, I have. Yeah.
The new John Cena one. The kind of the one scene storyline of Harley Quinn and like the president guy is.
Oh yeah.
It's really weird. It comes out of nowhere. It's one scene and then it's on with the film, and it does feel like they wanted to make another Harley Quinn film, but she couldn't film any scenes with the rest of the people in the film, which was really weird. But I definitely enjoyed it. As I say, it's definitely better than another one. You can tell James Gunn, it's a bit more kind of, I don't know, in control than the previous DC people have been. But my other favorite thing about it was that quite clearly Idris Elba, that was meant to be Will Smith and Will Smith's character from the previous Suicide Squad, as in he's just a different name but has all the same skills and the same backstory.
To be fair, the comic is like that, but yeah, they buried a few of the kind of things. It's just like, you just wanted Will Smith in there, didn't you?
Yeah. I'll spoil it for anyone else. The early death of a returning character made me quite sad on the beach. And then the other thing I was going to say was John Cena, he is signed up to do, I'll try and avoid some spoilers, more of his character.
Yes.
Is that a TV show or is that a film?
TV show.
Or a series, I guess.
HBO Max TV series.
Which I'm not sure if that, I don't know if his character necessarily, what I'm thinking at the moment, works as a TV show. He's very similar to your main man in The Boys, whose name escapes me at the moment. Homelander, is that him?
Yeah.
Kind of similar character to him, so I'm not sure. Another film I saw this week was Free Guy. I went yesterday to see.
What a film!
You had bigged this up to me, and I was severely disappointed in this film.
That's because you don't like films.
I like films, and I like video games. It's pretty much just Ready Player One, is what this.
It's a better version with Ryan Reynolds.
It's a less good version, and also...
You tell that to the millions and millions on Rotten Tomatoes. This is the freshest film out there.
I checked that. That's not the case either.
Yes, it is.
But no, I was severely disappointed. It was just an action movie, but just we'll make it about Grand Theft Auto. And I don't know if Grand Theft Auto should demand royalties from them, because it's quite clearly just Grand Theft Auto, a movie. But it had every time I thought, there's a couple of bits interesting here.
91% people like it on Google. There you go.
On Google. There we go. The people of Google have spoken.
Rotten Tomatoes 82%.
Yeah, people like it. But it's far from the best thing. I thought it was going to be pretty good. Some bits and pieces that I quite liked. Chris has paused.
He's paused us for no fucking reason. Fuck him. Just carry on. Fuck him. He has no idea what's going on.
He will join back in again. But yeah, Free Guy, disappointed. Some bits and pieces I really liked, but nah, I expected more from what I got. I did like. I try and avoid spoilers. The touch with the blinds was good. I liked that.
And the best 5 minutes in cinema history.
Without giving too much away, which bit is the best 5 minutes?
The bit where you said that person would never return as that superhero ever again, and he does.
Spoilers, I know what you're talking about. So I was talking about it.
I don't think I know what you're talking about. Oh, maybe I do know what you're talking about. Okay, right. Okay.
It's very Disney,
yeah.
very Marvel.
Yeah, well, that bit, yes, exactly, yeah. Okay, yeah, I must say I quite enjoyed that bit in the end. Are you back, Chris? I heard you speak.
I am, yeah. I had a few technical difficulties.
You certainly had difficulties. I think we covered
You should
everything.
have seen the panic. I was like, I don't know if they're talking to me.
It just makes it real. It's a one-take podcast. We don't actually script any of this shit.
When I say coming to you live, I mean we're coming to you live.
Yeah.
Right, I think I tried to kind of keep going and talking there so Chris got back.
Thank you.
Chris is back, so we can get on with the
Chris,
reason that we're
he
here
said Ryan
today.
Reynolds sucks balls.
Oh,
He's broke again.
I don't
it is. I don't know what the fuck's going on with it tonight.
Right, well, we can hear you,
Five
Chris.
All right, carry on.
Point number one on the 10-point podcast. What is the point? The point this week is the 1986 action-adventure comedy romance sci-fi film Howard the Duck, or as it is on IMDb, Howard: A New Breed of Hero.
Never heard it called that.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was never released with that, because like the film, it says Howard the Duck, and most places it's Howard the Duck, but IMDb seems to decide that it's Howard: A New Breed of Hero.
I want to punch this guy in the face. He's really fucking our whole podcast up here.
I'm not really sure what's happening.
I know. I don't know what's happening.
But weirdly, we can still hear you the whole time. So,
the whole time? Yeah, I can't hear you at all.
Right, okay. Let's see. But you answered. Never mind. Anyway, Howard the Duck, brought to us by Universal
Can't
Pictures.
hear you now again.
Right, he's gone again. So Universal Pictures for Howard the Duck. We've covered them a lot in the past. I think they must be just about our most frequent studio. Jaws, The Mummy, The Dead Don't Die, Casper, The Burbs, Devil, Waterworld, and Street Fighter have all been from Universal. It's a mixture. It's definitely some highs and lows in there. And Howard the Duck from Lucasfilm. George Lucas's name is all over the beginning of this film.
I tell you what, I bet he regrets that.
I'm going to say the first thing you see is George Lucas on this film, and it's like everything else they ever made with Lucasfilm is like your Indiana Jones, it's your Star Wars, and all this stuff.
Howard the Duck's in there.
So I don't know if we'll ever get back to him again, but we might do. Lucasfilm behind this one. The film based on the Marvel Comics character Howard the Duck, but you wouldn't know it watching the film. Marvel did not produce the film at all. I guess they just sold the rights to a film to Universal and Lucasfilm. The film written and directed by Willard Huyck, or Huyck, I guess is how you say it. So one of only 4 films he directed, and the last.
Wonder why.
But he's a writer of several films, along with Gloria Katz, who co-wrote all these with him. All very George Lucas. American Graffiti, French Postcard, Indiana Jones, and Temple of Doom specifically, just the middle Indiana, and obviously the least favourite Indiana Jones film before any new ones. And then Howard the Duck is the last biggest thing I could find that he was the writer of, that he was famous for. So essentially went out in a blaze of glory with this film, I would say. Chris is having a breakdown over there.
Yeah, absolute mental breakdown. It's brilliant.
He can't hear us. We'll carry on. Film Howard the Duck stars Lea Thompson from Jaws 3D, which just added in because it was the first big thing she was in
Really?
Jaws recently.
I don't remember her in Jaws 3D.
Yeah, Jaws 3D. I think she was normally I kind of go, right, is she one of the stars? Not necessarily, and I kind of scroll over and she's kind of one of the next 2 or 3 people. I say, all right, she's in that film or they're in that film. So yeah, Jaws 3D, all the right moves. Back to the Future trilogy, the first of which was before Howard the Duck, second and third came afterwards. And following Howard the Duck, Some Kind of Wonderful, Dennis the Menace, which a film I completely forgotten existed until I saw it. It was like, I went to the cinema to see that Dennis the Menace film when I was a kid, so I wanted to mention that. And then kind of post-90s, she was in, or post-mid-90s, Caroline in the City, the television show, she was Caroline. She's been in several Jane Doe TV movies, whatever they involve, and in the television show Switched at Birth. She's been in hundreds of episodes of that. Co-starring, second in billing for Howard the Duck, Jeffrey Jones. He is Dr. I'm forgetting his name now. Jennings. Dr. Jennings. He is second billed. In Amadeus, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which came right around the exact same time as Howard the Duck came out. And it's probably his most famous role, I think, is him appearing in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Following Howard the Duck, he was in Ed Wood, The Crucible, Devil's Advocate, Sleepy Hollow, How High, and then in the 2000s, he was in both the Deadwood television show and movie, which might be his last biggest thing that he was in.
He was in Deadwood.
Exactly, I had as well. He's one of these guys who's got one of them faces. Like, I know your face. it's all these things I've listed. He's a bit part in all of these. And then I thought I'd mention. I was going to say, let's not put Tim Robbins in as one of the stars of this, because it's not really Tim Robbins. He's very young and all that. But then clicking on where I find what people are famous for, this is one of the 4 things that this person was famous for, Tim Robbins, none of which was Shawshank Redemption. So there's something wrong with the algorithm on IMDb. But yeah, Tim Robbins, Top Gun, then Howard the Duck, and afterwards Bull Durham, The Player.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Shawshank Redemption, Austin Powers, Mystic River, Anchorman, War of the Worlds, and then Tenacious D and Green Lantern later on.
I think what we need to do is stop it there since he's fucked it.
Pause. This is a disaster. So we'll pause here and we'll carry on in a bit. Okay, I think we're back and Chris has got his technical difficulties working. Chris, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I apologise, guys. I don't know what happened.
It's all right, and I just wish we'd recorded the entire thing. Right, back on where we are. Howard the Duck is what I'd forgotten what we were doing there. Everybody else has just seen a couple of seconds. Howard the Duck, on a budget of $37 million, opened in the United States of America with $5 million at its opening weekend. Final US gross, $16 million. Just 16, that was, not 60. Worldwide final gross, $1 million above budget, $38 million. So
I'll still take $1 million.
It's such a good profit.
Yes, it's a profit. Yes,
exactly. At least it is a profit.
I'm not sure how much of the profit was already spent on other things, but yes, it made a profit. Released 1st of August 1986 means that it was in the 1987 awards season.
It's got to have won something. Here we go.
And boy, oh boy, was it represented in the 1987 awards season.
Yes, I've read about this. So.
Nominated for at the 1987 Razzies.
No!
Nominated for Worst Director, but lost to Prince, as in, yes, that Prince, who directed and starred in a film called Under the Cherry Moon that year, which has been abysmal. We have covered 87 before, so I've broken it down on a previous podcast. But yes, believe me, Under the Cherry Moon will be coming up again. Back to Howard the Duck. Nominated for Worst Supporting Actor, Tim Robbins.
What a poor bastard.
Lost to Jerome Benton, also in Under the Cherry Moon. Howard the Duck nominated for Worst Original Song, Howard the Duck. Now, this is what I take exception to.
Yeah.
That's a banger.
Now, the kind of, I don't know, the ducky keyboard noise that he put into it is the worst bit, but the actual rest of the song is pretty good. Lost to Love or Money from Under the Cherry Moon.
I bet they were so happy this film came out.
It's definitely one of those years. Yeah. Howard the Duck nominated for, harshly, Worst New Star, Howard the Duck. And won. Apparently Howard the Duck was the worst new star of 1987.
That's a fucking travesty.
Nominated for Worst Visual Effects of 1987 and won as well.
No! So back in the 80s, I thought that was quite good. That's harsh.
I
don't know.
Because visual effects. I think this is okay.
No. See, I don't. This was George Lucas. Like a few years before, we had Death Stars and X-Wings and lightsabers. Then we got this pish.
Yeah, but then, I don't know, like...
They were all little toys flying by the screen. This was
like... all of them.
Yeah.
You had the Emperor doing lightning.
Our generation, the Star Wars movies have got better because he's gone back and changed them. I think the 80s Star Wars...
Yeah, when we were born, he's probably already changed it.
That's so good. Why didn't you go back and fix Howard the Duck then?
How long have you got? But we're still in the Razzies here. I'm not finished yet. Next nomination for Howard the Duck, Worst Screenplay. It won Worst Screenplay, of course. And the final nomination...
I feel like this is a vendetta against George Lucas.
Final nomination at the 1987 Razzies for Howard Duck, nominated for Worst Picture. The winner of the Worst Picture of 1987... Under the Cherry Moon, tied with Howard the Duck.
Yay! We finally got a Razzie winner.
Balls.
So this was the worst picture tied of the year, so one of the two worst. What's that, 7 nominations at the Razzies? But don't worry, Chris. It has been mentioned at a couple other award ceremonies. It won at the 1986. At the 1986 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, it won Worst Picture. So it's bad. And the final award nomination for Howard the Duck came in 1990, which I was confused by initially. The 1990 Razzie Awards. Howard the Duck was nominated for Worst Picture of the Decade. It did not win, though.
Okay.
I believe all the worst pictures of the decade were nominated for Worst Picture of the Decade, so it got nominated because it won its year. A film called Mommy Dearest won. And I wasn't
heard of
expecting
that.
to dig any deeper into Mommy Dearest if it's the worst film of the 80s. But it may come up at some point. But yeah, Howard the Duck, a lot of mentions in 1987 at bad film. On with our synopsis. I believe it's a new chap doing our synopsis this week.
Does Nick not like this?
Nick he appears to have stayed away from this one. He was on a streak there. So Todd has written, Howard, a duck the size of a human child, is accidentally brought to Earth through a laser beam in an experiment being performed by Cleveland physicist Dr. Walter Jennings and his assistant Phil Blumburtt. Howard ends up in Cleveland, where he rescues singer Beverly Switzer from a group of thugs. Beverly and Phil are friends, and when the government is told about Howard, she helps Phil and Dr. Jennings hide Howard from the authorities until they can get him back home. But then an evil being arrives through the laser beam and takes possession of Dr. Jennings' body, putting Howard, Beverly, and Phil in a fight for their lives. Actually, not a bad synopsis, that. Who picked this week? It was Chris. Chris,
Yeah.
why you selected Howard the Duck?
I remember being utterly amazed by this when I was younger. Like, watching it now, like it's amazing. Like the little things that you notice you didn't notice when you were a kid, and like I think was previously mentioned, but I couldn't hear it. It's also the original Marvel movie.
Right.
So
it was not beforehand, but yes, we mentioned it was Marvel, but you wouldn't know it. Like there was no evidence. Of
exactly. I had to Google how it was Marvel. Like apparently there is mentions, but if you don't know the ins and out of the old Marvel, you'll never know.
Yeah.
So.
I personally had never seen this. I was aware of it, I think, before. I think it's known in our podcast now that this is the movie that Chris wanted to do. He was like, yes, I will be on the podcast. Can we do Howard?
This was in my contract.
Yeah. And we were like, maybe not to start with, but yes. So he's finally cashed in on that. But I had never seen it. But I think I was aware of it being this kind of weird, kind of sort of kids movie, but absolutely not a kids movie. What about you, Andy?
I don't know when I've ever seen, I've seen it way too young. Definitely, way too young. But it's one of them, like Chris said, I remember watching this and really liking it. And I don't know if it's because I was a kid, there's a duck on screen, but every time I watch this, a little piece of me just dies. A little bit of my childhood just dies inside. So I was reluctant to watch this again because I had fond memories of Howard the Duck. So we'll see how this pans out.
Yeah. You say you watched it too young. But this film, according to the internet, is rated a 12. Now, 12s did not exist in the 80s. And things that I've seen pointing towards it being a PG when it came out rather than a 15.
Yeah, so probably,
I don't think you were too young to watch this film.
But I do not remember duck titties, so...
Yeah, no, neither can I. I watched this. I remember him looking through a magazine, which I didn't realise was a duck porn magazine. Do it now. And how many flies past the picture that Andy has. Didn't notice that.
Yeah.
But...
Did he work in a brothel in these ones? Because I feel like
I do remember. I remember that.
While we're on the subject, is that a thing? Like, I don't know my brothels very well, but is there a hot tub brothel? Because that's blown my mind.
There's
Surely.
to be somewhere.
Yeah, you did just buy a hot tub this summer, Andy. So I
did.
see why you're interested.
I did not know you could just go into a communal hot tub brothel. And who wants to do that?
Well, wow. Yeah, exactly. How often do they change the water? Do you
that's
think?
like a hot soup of mess there.
Oh god. Yeah. Yes, we'll get into the more disgusting elements very soon. Though. So there you go. That was us coming into the film. That was our feelings on it. We better crack on now that things are working and we can get them going that way. Point 2 on the podcast: the high points. What we thought the best things and best bits were of the film. Chris, why don't you start us off with some of yours?
As we were just talking about, like things you never noticed, I never noticed that Howard's Earth was egg-shaped until the viewing. Like, I had to find it back and it looks like an egg.
It is a nice touch. It's just very, because you only get maybe a second worth of it being on screen as he's through space, where you can see it in the background. I don't know Would a world function egg-shaped? I feel like there would be some sort of kind of scientific explanation that would say that would work like
Don't know.
that.
I'd
I'm not a
imagine it would
scientist.
spin from the point.
It would probably move through space. It wouldn't spin on an axis properly, so it would just take off through space.
Well, we need Brian Cox to explain an egg-shaped planet for us.
Yes, we do.
So my
my
high point is
first
kind of where Chris
official high
is. No, shut up, Chris. I'm taking this one. We can't see Chris now, so I've got to shout over him.
Yeah.
Kind of going on from where Chris is, like that whole when Howard's on his planet is a high point because I think they spunk their entire budget. There was a lot of ducks there. They even put in duck titties, as we've mentioned many a time. The whole practical set stuff there is amazing. It's like they built a whole like universe.
Yeah. It feels like a whole block worth of a city, essentially, for this film. I did spot Chris used to be our goofs guy, but because I had no idea what's happening, I did as little research as possible going into this. I know the character, I know he's in the Marvel.
There's absolutely no goofs in this film. It's perfect.
Right, okay. Immediately, the first scene of the film is the camera zooming into this city, and then you see people walking across the street, and then it goes into this house, and it's ducks. There's no humans on this planet.
I didn't even notice that. That's brilliant.
You can't necessarily tell they're people, but they're definitely not the shape that the ducks are in the film. They're taller and skinnier, so it's like, because I was like, oh, he must just be a duck who lives in. I was like, well, why is he a duck movie star? I'm trying to piece it together. Is he a duck movie star? Is that why? No, that's and then everyone else is a duck. It's a different planet. But yeah, there's definitely humans walking around. So Chris had a high point waiting.
Yeah. That's after this. I was going to say like the Cherry Bomb songs. I thought were really good.
The first high point I have is the band are actually all right. Is what I've got.
Makes it even better that it's actually the girls there singing the songs and they're not dubbed over.
You look at the soundtrack at the end; it's always
Lea Thompson,
and where else underneath. It's like
it's a set of pipes.
Yeah. It's surprising. I don't think she ever did anything where she was like properly singing again. None of her big films that she was in, certainly. I don't remember her singing in any of them. I'll have a quick look.
How are the Ducks now? My work bangers. What song?
Harshly nominated.
The first one.
Is
it Hunger City?
Hunger City was good, yeah. And then there was another one in between that was all right as well. But I still think, stupid kind of farty, ducky piano bits in the last song ruined it. The rest of it was really good. His solo was a screecher as well. Like I didn't mind his solo at all. But yeah, my first high point was the band being okay. Followed on from, I'll mention now, Howard himself looks pretty damn good. Like there's no, you can't really pick any holes in it. It's like it's quite clearly a small person in a duck costume.
Yeah.
But it's like it works fine. That's how a humanized duck would be, and
the fact is they drown him and everything. Like he goes through all the water effects and everything, and it's like they're just throwing that costume around and it works.
Yeah.
Like water off a duck's back, literally.
Wait.
The film was rife with duck puns.
There's too many duck puns. That's a low point.
It's too much. Like I think I don't know how low points, but at one point I was like, I don't know what to count. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's like, do I count every time they say duck? But the title's Howard the Duck, so it's just counting the same thing twice. I'll leave it. But by about 20 minutes of the film, I'm so glad I'm not counting how many ducks there are. Chris, did you count ducks? I feel like you often do.
I did count ducks, actually.
We'll come to that then. We'll get the answer in a minute.
Yeah, duck puns. It's a low point for me. There's too many. Next high point, anyone? I don't have many. I've already spent my two big ones, I think.
I will go for Chris for the next high point.
Well, I like the gradual change in Jennings when he's being taken over. Like you see him, he's just normal, and then you just see every scene you get kind of flicks away, flicks back. He's gradually degraded into that monster.
I kind of agree with Chris. He is my high
scene
point.
In the diner is brilliant.
He can act. Like it's a weird acting, but it is impressive what he does.
Yeah.
Normally,
I had the powers as well. Sorry, Bruce.
Normally, I would be like, I'll wait till low points, but it's a low point for me. It annoyed me the way he was like. Fair enough, he can do it. I agree with Chris. The gradual every time you saw him was like, that's a bit extra. That's a bit extra. He's getting worse. He's getting worse. That was really well done. And it's impressive that he can do what he did for as long as he did, but it annoyed the hell out of me.
The thing that annoyed me is he's growling all the time.
Yeah, all the time, and even just the way he spoke, it did my head. And of course, it's just that annoying. The stuff he's talking about is just I don't care as well. And it's like, just give me some good stuff again, because there are some good bits in this film. But anytime he was properly full on being a demon, it just
Yeah.
annoyed the hell out of me.
That's fair enough. Nobody else got the high point.
I'll go. I do have a few others. So my next one I've just got is Lea Thompson's pajamas. Is the next thing I've
Hey.
got.
I'm pretty sure that's like the first time I remember getting a boner.
Oh my god!
Not the duck at the beginning though.
I forgot about that. No, I've got a thing for Lea Thompson purely because of this film.
Right, and it's not an Oedipus thing thanks to Back to the Future or anything like that. No, Oedipus complex. No, she has a sensational starring scene with Howard and her about half an hour, 40 minutes into the film, which
Like-
I was quite taken.
Yeah, if she could turn on a duck, definitely turn her on Chris.
Yeah, but the downside is that it comes out of nowhere. Like Howard is just a duck, and they've already done the. Have they fallen apart, fallen out with each other yet?
Yeah.
I think but they do the step one, help each other.
Yeah, they
step
did.
two,
And then came
stay
back.
together, and then step three, fall out, and then already they're back together again, being pals. And then out of nowhere, boom! There's a sexual relationship possibly happening here out of nowhere.
Yeah,
But she never did. She was just winding them up.
Yeah, I thought it was actually happening. I didn't realize she was just winding them up.
Yeah.
She was a good actress. I'll put it that way. Was Beverly in that scene? But yes, a big thumbs up. I didn't expect it to be as I thought. It's just me being a bit weird. But when I typed in, obviously when we do have video on these, we have backgrounds. I typed in I could type in Howard the Duck scene and then images to put on the back, and it's all photographs of them in that scene. And I'm all right. This must be a famous, or at least fondly looked upon scene from the film. So yeah, big thumbs up for that scene. I do have two more kind of high points.
Good, because I don't have any.
Well, I've only got one more. It's not really a high point, but the Dark Lord, when it's out of Jennings' body, reminded me of one of the monsters from Men in Black.
Yes.
A little bit.
Ah, yeah.
But it's not a high point because that was utterly shit.
No. Yeah. And I was going to say, also, apart from wanting to bring the Dark Lords down, he wasn't actually that bad. He did help Howard when the mob were trying to kill him and eat him. He was quite disappointed we didn't get his eggs, so he wasn't that bad.
He did want his eggs, didn't he? Yeah, in fact, probably not actually knowing what they were. He wanted them.
Yeah.
I felt I really honestly, I blocked out my high points with my last two because I felt like Howard's costume, Lea Thompson's costume, and the band was all I had. So the actual destruction of was pretty good. I thought. Like, you guys obviously liked the baddie more than I did, but him blowing everything up and the whole thing getting ruined, I thought it was quite exciting, and I quite enjoyed the action.
Some good sets.
Of blowing up. Yeah, exactly. It was a good set, and they did a good job of blowing it up. And the last thing I've got is the kind of finale bit where he's driving around on the cart with the kind of gun on it. I thought it was well done. The big monster, I wrote that before the big monster had appeared, which he kind of took it down a wee bit. But the first half of him versus Jennings the human, and with him on the cart, was all right.
I was petrified of that as a kid. It scared the shit out of me.
I bet. Probably the duck would have been enough for me, I think. Right, we're very low on high points, so we better get on to our low points, which I'm assuming would be a high number of. Coincidentally, Andy, right, you must have stored some of these up, so why don't you start us off?
The entire story. Like, it's like it starts off strong. Like I said, I liked on Duckburg or whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it Duckburg.
Duckburg, yeah.
It starts off pretty strong there, and it's like right, and then okay, then it just goes into this weird, depressing. I'm by myself, and then it's like the film changes, and then it changes again, and then Tim Robbins comes in, and then it changes again, and it's like. Is there going to be a bad guy? All right, about 3/4 of the way, there's suddenly a bad guy in this film, and it's like well, he's not actually that bad. He's helping them. Then he's a bad guy. Then the film changes again, where it's just Tim Robbins and Howard flying a plane badly, and then it changes again, and it's like, what is like? Just stick to a storyline and go with it. No wonder the screenwriting got shit.
You say I feel like with you that the bad guy comes into it really late, but the entire way through. I could not believe how long was left. In the past, there's been films like Scanner Darkly. I had to stop and have a sleep in the middle of it. I take back, in terms of this aspect, I take back all the bad things I said about Starship Troopers, where I had to stop because it was annoying me so much. I started watching this, got about 20 minutes into it. I was like, I cannot do it anymore. I have to stop. So I stopped, and that was it. I finished it. I finished it today. I finished this film today. You guys both know when I started it. It's like, yeah, I couldn't do it once. I had to stop. And then, let's say that was 20 minutes into it. Came back into it. My favourite scene in the film is happening. So I'm like, okay, I'm a bit more interested here. And I'm like, oh, how long have I watched now? Probably when Jennings coming into it. And I'm like, oh, I've still got like an hour of this to go.
Yeah.
I love this film. But yeah, it's a shambles at times. Like I say,
There's bits are okay. There's bits that are okay, but it just goes to shit.
The first 20 minutes, they do the whole, I don't know who I am, someone helped me, we should go be pals, and then, oh no, we'll fall out, and then I go over here, I'll go get a job and be my own duck, and then they get back together again, and that whole thing happens in about 15 minutes of the film. And it's like, no, tell me a story, don't just do stuff.
Well, yeah, like your favourite scene, it's not really a bad point, but as hot as Lea Thompson was in that scene, it's still weird. I mean, I think this is going to be our first bit of bestiality.
No, we've definitely done bestiality before.
It was sensual, and it never went to bestiality level, I think. But
like I was trying to describe this, like it's like when you tickle a dog's belly and he gets a little red rocket. It's like you got to stop, haven't you? That's all she was doing. She was just playing with the dog, and then suddenly, oh, he got a bit excited, so she stopped.
Yeah, fair. I feel like I need it. Right, just before the scene we're talking about, when they first get to Beverly's apartment, they walk in and it's like got all of her band. I think it's band stuff everywhere. It looks like she was like a designer as well, the way it was laid out. But it's music related stuff. So Howard asks her, "Oh, blah blah, what do you do?" and all that stuff. "Oh, I'm in a band," and immediately goes to, "Oh, our manager. He's like I don't know, a dick or whatever it is."
Yeah.
And then she says a sentence that someone lines up, "I'm not very happy with him. He's been booking us to play some real grungy mungholes," she says. And I'm like, mungholes? What the hell is she talking about? Do not Google what a munghole is.
Oh.
Just do not do it. It is disgusting. I didn't see any pictures. I went immediately, right, Urban Dictionary. I will go there.
You want an Urban Dictionary munging?
Well, it's some way related. But yeah, this film is a PG, and she mentioned mungholes, and it is repulsive, and like, and that again, I get already turned off at this point. So it's that. Was
I can already see where Bruce's score's going on this one.
It's not going up the way, I'll tell you that. Yeah. My next one is I immediately hate Tim Robbins the second he steps on screen.
It's so bad. There's a moment where I'm like, oh wait, he's playing quirky, but then he just becomes stupidly quirky. He's like, I hate you.
Yep. It's the one that really got me is when he's not seen Howard for a while. Howard's told him to like fuck off basically, and then he comes into that just literally after Howard's dealt with the band manager. He's talking to the girls in the band. He walks in and goes, "Oh, Howard, Mickey." And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he's never done that to him before. Where the fuck did that come from? And then from that point on, I just hated him.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't even think he'd spoken already. I'm like, right, I'm not sure about this. Like, my side, I'm done. I don't know why you're doing this. This is when I found out afterwards that he had been nominated for a Razzie for worst supporting actor, which is genuinely fine, like, acceptable. But no, like when you're essentially the third top character, the villain doesn't come into it like Andy says before. Is just despicable, like hateable. It's like it doesn't help a film. Any more from you, Chris? I've got plenty in the tank. Trust me.
I've got a couple. Like, the scene in the lorry with Jennings' massive long tongue that comes out. That gave me the bolt when I was a kid, and it still kind of creeps me out a little bit. It's just the noise.
I'll tell you what. Your danger wags must have been all over the place in this film, Chris.
I was a wee boy back then. That kind of thing never happened. I've heard there's a funny thing, but I'll talk about it later.
It's on the unrated version of this podcast.
My next little point, I've already mentioned it. Like, it is a brothel he works in. How does like the job centre get him a job working in a brothel? Like,
she said she's the best.
Are brothels legal in Cleveland? I don't know.
That was like literally. You kind of go into my next like low point. Is it seems to be everybody's absolutely scared shitless of a space duck, which they've got every right to be.
Yeah.
Why is the FBI not all over this? Because if a space duck would be like, right, arrest him, but he could then just go to the job centre. One, know what a job centre is in Earth, because I'm sure they've got them in Duckburg, which I'm going to keep calling it. But I'm sure they've got job centres. But like, he knows where it is. Like, he's definitely been walking on the streets, asking people, going, "Where's the job centre?" Having people scream at him. He would have been arrested before he even got to that job centre. He'd be getting chopped up, 100%.
Then I'm
Where's he been living as well? Like living in the streets?
He'd be living on his sofa in the alleyway, I think. He looked like he was reminiscing when he got back there. There's my sofa that I landed
So
on.
he's definitely had a job for some time. It doesn't actually tell how long's passed, but he should have been arrested. I'm saying, just
he should have been locked up.
Fucking duck walking the streets. Get arrested.
The next low point I've got. It's just still really early on. There's a scene in the bar where, like, the manager of Cherry Bomb, it essentially seems to be pimping them out at the bar, and then they decide to beat up Howard. Okay, this is the walking, talking duck.
I know that's everybody's first option is to beat the shit over the talking duck.
The acting in this scene is the worst we have ever covered, and we've done The Room on this podcast. That was the absolute, and another one where every character in the scene seems to have been told that I want you to be the quirky one, and then I want you to be the quirky one, and I want you to be the quirky one. So they're all playing it at like 12 out of 10 like level, and they're all going mad, and they can't act for hell, and it's like I'm having a mental breakdown at this point.
There's the guy, I think it's the guy with a hat, who is in another notoriously bad film, but plays the exact same quirky character. in Super Mario Brothers, which might be coming up another time.
Hey.
But yeah, I can see. I mean, they're all just play quirky, and then I can say like forgetting
Chris says quirky has bad acting.
Yeah. Like when he's got the ice pick in the guy's ear, and like the guy's another one. You're like, just shove him off. He's a small duck.
But he knows quack foo.
Quack foo. But I can see why you wouldn't like that scene.
I've got 3 more.
You can rattle through them because I've literally got the whole film as my one.
Right, you do, yeah. Okay, so next one. The police are looking for Howard after he escapes being captured. Again, I can't remember the exact context, but that's happening. But there's a few police, not FBI, but police. And then they're hiding, him and Beverly, I think, are hiding underneath something. And then one policeman says to a line of police officers, blah, 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 Howard a duck, 4 feet tall, whatever it was, he's armed. That means he's got a weapon. So first of all, how bad are these police officers that has to be explained to them? But then Howard's like, "Oh, I'll throw my gun into this tank of something because they won't recognize me because he hasn't got a gun." Like, well, why does he throw his gun away? Like, you're gonna need that.
He's not armed and doesn't get shot instantly.
Yeah, but they've not even told him he's armed, so it could be a case of, we'll shoot him on sight anyway. But yeah.
My major low point, like to expand on that, is the whole chase scene on that plane. It looks cool as hell, but every single time I watch it, I just cringe. But it's like, even if I was flying that, at some stage, I would get the hang of the controls and be able to fly it. Like, at no stage does he get the hang of it, and you're just constantly dropping on things. It looks amazing.
It kind of looks like he does at some point, and then purposely flies low. Just stay high up.
It's just don't follow a road where the police are. Go over the big field where the police can't go.
My next low point, I've just called it the exposition-laden transformation car ride that goes into the start of the diner, where your main man Jennings is doing just essentially explaining the story that hasn't happened so far. It's like, I'm a dark demon from a different planet, and I can take over this body, and I need a human host, and just telling us the films that you could have spent the last hour.
That's the problem with it, yeah. They could have actually built up some bad stuff.
It was that scene as well. Like, kind of annoyed me because the guy goes, "Oh, I can feel it replicating every organ." Blah blah blah. It's like, how would you know that's exactly what that thing's doing?
Exactly. Yeah. It's like just don't tell us what's happening. Make it part of the story what's happening. And then goes at the diner and saying the entire time he does what he does very well. However, it's annoyed the hell out of me the way he was speaking, and I don't want to have to watch that. Demon Jennings was next. I'll jump that. So the last one I've got, the Dark Overlords. They need a human host, and that's why they take all the people. And in the end, something happens. Jennings gets him blown out of him. He's fine again, and then the demon doesn't need a host anymore, and it's just a giant demon. and then a whole bunch of other giant demons are coming through without also needing hosts. So it's like you told me some of the story, and then just forget it. We'll just do what we want instead. So that was my last little point: was they actually don't follow their own rules.
Mine's is kind of like touching on that a little bit. Like the computer gets to 1 before, and like practically 0 before Howard blows up. So they should be literally on the end of the laser and there, but no, it manages to disappear as soon as they blow up, which it does not make sense.
For reasons that will become clear later, I most definitely went back to this part of the film, and Howard blew up after the countdown would have ended. So, it like I say, it reaches 0 definitively, and then he blows it up. So yeah, they should have been there for a fact.
Okay.
Is that us?
Yep.
Low points?
Yeah, I'm out of low points.
That's me out of the ones written down, but I can probably think of some more. On to point 4 then, the stats. Battle through these.
I picked another stinker.
No shits and no F-bombs, no swearing whatsoever. There's a couple of damns and a couple of jerk-offs and all that sort of stuff, but nothing too harsh. I've got 64 explosions, but at one point, when the laser blows up, it's like bang, 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 bang. It's like 64 noticeable explosions that go throughout. I've got deaths as 4, and that is the Dark Overlords, because they all die. I don't think a human being dies in this. A couple of them get, like, Emperor zapped, but I don't know if they actually. We never see them being a dead body.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So I don't know if they die or not. So there might not actually be any more deaths. Our quotas that we normally hit on the 10-point podcast: dead animal. I don't think so. There were cooked ducks in the restaurant, but not really any dead animal. No goats. The devil never appeared.
Good.
Nobody went number 1 or number 2. I don't think anyone was a paedophile. Like I think unless Howard's only I don't know, a few years old. I don't know. So I think we're completely blank on the film. This is a different film to what we normally do. Nothing that always showed up.
Yep.
And did they say the thing in the film?
Yes.
Did they actually say Howard the Duck? Yeah, they do. Yeah, in the song.
5 minutes into the film, when it says Howard the Duck on the screen, the watcher or whoever does say Howard the Duck at the beginning. But yeah, the song at the end has 5 of them. There are 6 Howards the Ducks in the film. Chris, I know you definitely got one stat. Let's hear.
There was a Wilhelm scream as well when the duck hunter got knocked into the water. Yeah, this is like the 3rd film in a row or something.
I'll ask now, was there an R2-D2 noise at one point?
Yeah, there was a few Star Wars noises.
When the portal thing, I think it was when they were killing the Dark Overlords.
Yeah.
It sounds just like him going, that kind of noise that he does.
I've noticed
that.
As for ducks, I counted 67 ducks. So there was more ducks to explosions.
Yeah, and there was a lot of explosions. Yeah.
That's including like all the ducks on House. I was taking a little bit of liberty with that because there was a lot of pictures.
Right.
I couldn't tell if they were different people to have it, so I only counted the pictures once.
Right. Okay.
And plus, like you said, there was the ducks in the river. There was ducks.
It's a lot of ducks
in the diner. So there was a lot of ducks.
There was a lot, and well done. Congratulations. I'm glad I didn't go down that route.
It wasn't too bad. Like a lot of them. There was a lot of pausing at the start, and I thought, okay, that's it. There's no more ducks apart from Howard. And then as you're flying over the thing, they go over the river. Oh fucking hell! There's a whole bunch here. So,
is that you then? Any other stats?
No, that was it. I thought it was hard enough.
Andy, we may have covered it already, but most pornographic scene?
Duck titties.
Came
out of nowhere. I'm not expecting it. And for like, because I'm putting it as my best pornographic scene, not because of titties. However, I got into the mind of like George Lucas going, right, this is what I want. And then just looking at his costume design, he's like, so you want me to make the duck with titties? Yes, they're going to sit in a bathtub with bubbles, a shower cap on, and their titties out. Are you sure, Mr. Lucas? That's what I want, yes. And every time I see duck titties, that's what I think. Just who had the conversation with George Lucas going, duck titties?
But he did it again. He was like, do you know what? One's not enough. We now need to put another one in a magazine that Howard looks at.
Yeah.
And actually just do it just to take a picture of it.
But, yeah. Mind blown, so, yeah.
Mine's is definitely the scene that Bruce was sitting in front of.
On to point 5 then, the 10-point podcast quiz. This could be a good one.
No, it's not.
I have 4 questions for both the gentlemen, and then I do have a tiebreaker if we need it, but I'm going to go through the tiebreaker regardless of if we need it or not. I do have my scoreboard ready and all that. Right. Who wants to go first? Whose turn to go first?
I'll go first this time. I went first last time.
Right, Chris is going first. Chris, question 1. What is the Duck World or Duckburg version of Raiders of the Lost Ark called?
Aha! Had it down. Breeders of the Lost Stork.
Correct. Breeders of the Lost Stork. Which, I don't know why breeders.
That's the whole thing I've got written down there.
But, yes, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Andy, question number 1. What is Beverly's band called?
Cherry Bomb.
They are indeed called Cherry Bomb.
That's
Question
the only
2
question
for
I
Chris.
know, by the way.
At least you've got one. You're on the board. Chris, question 2. What kind of credit card did Howard have in his wallet?
Ah, fuck. Was it a Bloomin' Duck? No, that's not a credit card. I don't know.
I guess that was like a membership card.
Yeah.
I guess it's Bloomingdale's. I don't know unless that's just it's something in Friends. No, he had a Mallard card.
Oh, I thought Mallard, but
This is a MasterCard. Andy, what was the name of Cherry Bomb's original manager before Howard later on became the manager?
Oh, shit.
Just his first name is all I'm looking for.
Sid.
It was not. It was Ginger, which is unusual. I've not heard many kind of grown men called Ginger before. Still at 1-1 then. Chris, what was Howard's band in high school called? This is a bit harder.
Howard. I want to say Howard and the Heartbreakers.
You are correct with Howard.
Oh,
and
you
Heartbreakers.
bastard. That's another one I knew.
Oh, did you know that one, did you? Okay, Andy, see if you know this one. This is quite difficult. Can you complete the quote that was spoken by Howard in the film? He says, "On my planet, we never say die. We say..."
Kill.
Whoa.
It's quite difficult because I believe he gets interrupted.
No, he does. He does say that once, and then the other time he says, "We say
Yeah.
Oh,
my
fair
shorts" or something like that. Or my
right,
ball.
yeah. Okay, if Chris is giving you, I'll give you. Yeah, because the bit I was going for was on my planet we never say die. We say not my shorts because
Yeah.
they're like, stripping them off in the police station.
No, he says kill. That's the very first one.
Yeah. No,
Right.
I'll give it to Andy.
Yeah, boy.
Right. Oh, it's all 2-2 then. And you've got one question each before we got the tiebreaker. So, Chris, what type of cuisine do they offer at Joe Roma's?
Joe Rose. Sushi. Oh, there's 3 different kinds. It's sushi and something else. And
I'm looking for what advertises on the sign outside. It says Joe Roma's and then what they sell.
Duck. I don't know.
Do you know, Andy? You seem to know
Sushi.
Chris's answer. It is sushi. It's Cajun sushi, is what they all. Because the sushi has just been stamped over the top of whatever Cajun thing they had. So Cajun sushi. So Andy, a question to win it. If you can get this one right. Why were the police stopping traffic when the demon Dr. Jennings blew up all of the cars on
Emissions
the road?
tests.
Yes, it was smog inspections. But yes, I will give you emissions tests.
Yeah,
Andy,
boy.
I would never have got that one either.
Andy wins 3-2. The tiebreaker, if you hadn't given him that point, the tiebreaker was going to be the Dark Overlord tries to bring 3 more Dark Overlords with a laser. The timer says it will take 4 minutes. Howard blows up the laser after the very last second. I've got it written down here. But how long does the 4 minutes actually take in the real time of the film? And the correct
2
answer
minutes, 13.
2 minutes 57. Is what
Oh, I would have said 3 minutes.
I think duck minutes, so you'd have won with 3 minutes. I think duck minutes must be shorter than the human minutes. But yeah, another one for Andy. I think that might be 2 on the bounce or 2
Yeah,
at 3.
boy.
Got a couple in there. On to point 6, movies within movies. The references I counted in this film, and there was tons. My Little Chickadee, Casablanca, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star Wars, and then, because they're from the Raiders of the Lost Ark poster, it says, from the people who brought you, and it was like a pun of Star Wars, and then the pun was just, beaks. What's beaks a pun of? And I didn't get it until afterwards. It's Jaws. That's what it is. So Jaws is mentioned too. Flashdance, Doesn't Want a Space Odyssey. That's the credits coming up with Doesn't Want a Space Odyssey. All the other ones came before that. Clockwork Orange, Superman, Grills in the Mist, On the Waterfront, Frankenweenie, The Exorcist, Goldfinger, The Thing, Conan the Barbarian, Alien, and Back to the Future. But the future was him playing the guitar at the end. Just
Right.
And Never Not Good. This was the hardest Never Not Good I've had. There's
Duck
very little in
titties.
this film. I'm like, that always works. I've gone for the sound of one of those duck call things. So that always makes me laugh when you do a duck call noise. So yeah, that is the Never Not Good. Chris, what have you got for us for movies and movies?
Well, the only person, like, I wasn't going to Google this person, but he just popped up on the screen, is David Paymer, who is literally in the Blink and You Miss It scene. And was in City Slickers.
He was. He's one of those. I know his face. He was.
Ben Jerry did.
Yes, exactly. From City Slickers. But Chris, unfortunately, you have let yourself down here. He is actually one of 4 people we have covered.
Really?
Yeah. It kept on coming. Obviously, it's not the main star.
I bet it's suburban.
However,
the suburbs.
one of the members of Cherry Bomb, I've actually covered before, and obviously not Lea Thompson. So she plays Casey in Cherry Bomb. Holly Robinson Pete is her name. Now, she had a cameo in 21 Jump Street because she was actually in the television show 21 Jump Street. So around about the Johnny Depp sort of stuff near the end, she actually cameos in 21 Jump Street in the movie as well. So I've had her before. I've had David Paymer, like you say. The character Pimples in Howard the Duck.
Do you know what? I scrolled past his name and I looked at Pimples and I was like, yeah, okay, it doesn't look familiar, so I carried on.
No idea who Pimples is, but the actor John Fleck was also in Waterworld. He played a doctor in that. I guess I don't know who he was specifically. And the best one of the lot, Debbie Lee Carrington was in Howard the Duck. She played additional ducks, and she was also in Batman Returns playing a penguin. So yes, I believe she's also a small.
She's really nice and
I've done a few of the
a few
ducks.
times.
Oh, there we go. So yes, she is a bird, expert at being birds, giant birds. There you go, 4. I think that's our record, Chris. So I'm not sure.
That's a bad one.
Have you recast us into the film, though, Chris?
I did. Well,
God.
I made myself Howard because any excuse to be in bed with Lea Thompson. And I've gone a different route for you guys. Like I've made, I've made Andy the Tim Robbins character, like Goofy. And I made Bruce, the Jennings and Dark Lord guy, just for funsies, just to mix things up a bit.
I had the same, but me and Andy were flipped. I had to make.
All right.
But I thought, yeah, I'll be Filsy, which they get called. Every time he said that, so I was like, oh my god. Yeah, I took Filsy. Andy, have you recast anyone in this film?
Yeah, so basically Tim Robson, pull him out and put his Shawshank character in. What a film that would be.
Andy Dufresne tried to escape this movie.
Just digging a hole out with his spoon. Fucking ducks.
Very good. We'll stick with you, Andy, then. Point 7, your trigger warning. What have you got for us on Howard the Duck?
Right, so originally I was like, bestiality.
Bestiality.
Right, so I thought, we've covered bestiality before, and I was like, racism. Do we need to go into racism? We've covered that before as well. However, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Question for the room. White ducks. I don't see white ducks. I see a lot of brown ducks. And I didn't see one brown duck in this film.
Are you saying ducks have been white?
I think it's more of a swan.
Yeah, it's white. Like, I don't know if it's American. Maybe Americans have white ducks, but the ducks that they were trying to kill were British brown ducks when they were flying with the green beaks or whatever. Yeah. I've never seen a white duck.
I don't think I've got green beaks, but I know what you're saying. But yeah, that's what we're saying. But yeah, when you think of like a.
Oh no! So there was one black duck, and that was in Duckburg.
Was there?
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay.
I'm almost certain it was.
If that is true, my trigger warning's gone because I was going to say the whitewashed ducks.
Okay, but there's only one.
Pekin ducks are the Hollywood ones. Pekin ducks.
Okay.
It's a particular brand of. I don't know if they're really common in America, maybe. But
anyway, yeah, I want to see more brown ducks in this film.
Definitely more representation for British ducks. Where are all the British ducks in this film?
So yeah, it did annoy me because I was just like, I've never seen a white duck, and it just always do this. It would just get me angry. It's like, where's the brown ducks? Show me a brown duck.
Give me a mallard or two.
But yeah, if you want bestiality, just go back to I think it was District 9. We did some bestiality.
Oh right, yeah, got you. I remember talking about bestiality.
Some prawn love and stuff like that.
It comes out quite a lot for us. Right, on to point 8, our nominations for the awards at the end of the season. It's still early going, so I won't get too far into it. Andy, do you have a lot? I can't remember if you said.
I've got a couple.
Right, on you go. You lead off.
Right, best fighting style, quack fu. Best costume, Howard the Duck. That's a costume. I'm going for that. And then basically everybody else is shit. So worst characters. Everybody else. Everything else. That's all I've got.
You want to go next, Chris, or do you want me to go next?
Yeah, I'll say with 2 more. I've gone for best song as Hunger City. I agree with Andy for best costume. I thought it was amazing how expressive his face was for being a costume and animatronic. And my best actress is Lea Thompson. just
I'm not
because.
even giving her an award. So shit.
She's actually quite good in this. I think. I thought she did a lot for.
Yeah.
She was given a pretty dreadful script and not a lot
She
to work
carried this film, I thought.
She really doesn't. She's obviously acting opposite a teddy bear for most of the.
It's a duck.
So I think a ducky bear then. So I think she did really well. So I'm under her. I had Howard the Duck for best song, but I think me and Chris, I probably agree with you that Hunger City. I just thought Howard the Duck would be the standout. But yeah, Hunger City.
I'm banging soundtrack. We'll give the soundtrack. There you
go. Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, it's not bad. I'll give you that.
Except from the random interlude songs, they were shite.
the score parts, yeah. Worst cop. The ones that have to be explained what arm means are the worst. I have to disagree with the two of you. Howard the Duck is very good. However, the best fashion item is definitely Beverly's pajamas. That is the best fashion item in the film.
He's getting a boner now. I can hear him. It's growing.
For worst acting. Worst acting, Ginger, the manager, and his pals in the bar.
Closely followed by Tim Robbins. He's going to be in there.
Tim Robbins is definitely. In fact, yeah, I saw it. Tim Robbins.
Yay! Fuck you, Tim Robbins. And your shit acting.
Yes. You regret this film, I'm sure.
If we ever have to meet any of these people when we become proper famous, we're screwed.
I don't think Lea does, because she's got a couple of the things from it. She's got the guitar.
She's good in it. It's like,
yeah.
Look how good I was.
It's not like Ming Na Wen from Street Fighter who thought her career was over.
Right, yeah. Worst kiss? Anything involving Howard? Worst kiss. Worst villain, Dr. Jennings. He just annoyed me. But if you want to say Dark Lords, I wouldn't argue. Best voice work, Chip Zien as Howard.
Yeah,
Howard himself. He's actually got quite a bit of charisma, I think. So yeah, I'll nominate him. But not many others. I think our major ones, it's kind of... Best line was difficult. Inanimate object, I thought maybe the plane thing, but Andy's now broken that down, and I'm like, yeah, to be honest, it's terrible. And nobody was the best villain. There wasn't really a twist. And the plans, there wasn't plans.
There was no plan.
There was no plan. So yeah, a tough one for nominations. On to point 9, the moral of the story. What were the lessons this film was trying to teach us? I'll go first since I went last there. I've just got don't shoot stuff into space, I think is the moral of the story here. Because that was meant very bad. Andy, what about you?
Don't fuck ducks.
Wait, yeah. I'm not sure that was the moral. I think the moral story was the opposite. But
my moral is ducks are cool.
Yeah, I guess they are. They play good guitar. Yeah, some solid lessons, I would say. On to the 10-point rating then. 10th point of the podcast. Rating the movie out of 10. Chris, you selected, so you have the honour of going first.
Yeah, see, I feel Howard the Duck's been unfairly reviewed over the years. Right, if you go into this open-minded and not expecting like an Oscar-worthy film, I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. Right, I thought the film was great when I was a kid, and I still enjoy it now. Like I said, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but like I said, it's still enjoyable, and I give it a 5.
A 5 from Chris. Andy, I've got you next.
Let's just turn off now. No, that's it. 5.
You're happy just taking a 5.
It's average of 5. So I'm with Chris. I've like totally enjoyed this as a kid. I tend not to watch it because every time I watch it, a little part of me dies because I remember it being way better than it is, and I've not watched this in probably about 15 years. And oh my god, it is horrendous. This is like George Lucas. Like he thought the holiday special was bad in Star Wars. This thing is shit. So it's a 1. It's a 1.
Right, I've written some notes for my rating here. It's taken us this far. My first note is it's not funny. This film is meant to be a comedy film. Not at any point did we mention anything that we laughed at in this film. So it's not funny. It made me turn off half an hour in. Everyone except Lea Thompson and the Duck are awful. The duck puns are so bad and frequent, it made me not want to go back, start the film, and start counting them. So that says a lot. The entire way through this film, I'm thinking, this is a 1. This is a 1. I was thinking, this is so bad. But I've stretched it to a 2, so I'm giving it a 2. I don't know why. Something says 2 about this film. But you compare it to other things, it's like I would probably watch this before I watched Imaginarium, blah, blah, blah again. And I'm like, The Room was horrendous, but I hurt from laughing at it. But there's elements of this film that are a better production than that is. It's an actual better film than that. So it'd be harsh to give it a 1 behind The Room, I think. But yeah, it's as close to being as 1 as possible, I'm afraid, Chris. So I give it a 2. That means its official 10-point podcast rating, I think, is a 3 somehow.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, officially it's a 3. It gets 8
So I was
points.
always going to carve the rating of this film. I could have rated this an 8.
Yeah, I completely disagree with you. You could just turn, if you go in open-minded, it's good.
I know.
It's not. I would
No.
open-minded.
I say it's good. I say it's better. Everybody like I read the reviews and be like, "This is utter shit," especially from George Lucas. But I was like, they're expecting fucking Star Wars again.
Well, the
No,
biggest problem with this is like this came out 10 years after Howard first appeared in the comics, and it's nothing like the comics. And then obviously they've tried to expand Howard the Duck, and he's like even like joined the Guardians. He's defeated Thanos. He's learned magic from Doctor Strange. He has a big role now in the Marvel comics, and this did not show in the film at all. It was shit.
There we go. I'll have that
happen in the sequel.
I was going to say, let that be the last word on it, and we'll move on to what we're doing next time. Next time is my selection. I've no idea how long this podcast has run this time. This could be hours long. This.
Well, 2 hours
next.
because of Chris.
Well, yeah, it's gone longer recording-wise, yeah. I'm next. I was going to say I'm going a different direction, but my film is also adventure, comedy, crime, and then music film, brackets, not musical, so don't worry, you guys are not
okay, thank you.
It's music-related. Adventure, comedy, crime movie from the year 2000. None of the major stars I could see we've actually done any sort of feature on before. It is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, I've never seen that.
You haven't seen that? Very good. Disappointingly for Andy, this may cloud his judgment ahead of things. It is from the Coen brothers, who got badly reviewed on Fargo.
Yep.
But however, I feel this is a different kind of film to Fargo.
I've seen it.
You have seen it. Andy's making that face that you can't see on the podcast. But yeah. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It fits my theme. I've just realised I haven't guessed Chrissy's theme at all.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Is it
Bestiality.
Nope.
No. At one point, it was going to be our names. I'm assuming this is the one you added back in because you could do it.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
I've added in like 3 other films because you guessed it straight away, so I decided to change the rest of my films.
But yeah, I forgot we were trying to guess it because it's slower coming round every time now, isn't it? So yeah. Chrissy's theme, not yet. So it's Howard the Duck.
I can't remember what you guessed first. Somebody's guessed father and son. It was a no. Somebody's guessed. You guessed something and transformations, which this was going to be, but I said no. So I can't include that. But so no, you haven't guessed it yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll keep an eye on that for like 3 weeks' time, whatever. Yeah. So everybody has 7 days to find and watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And we will catch you next time on the 10 Point Podcast.